Here's our garden update from Small Bears Preschool. This garden out front was redone this year. Put the Stelladoras out here. Those are those little yellow flowers. And then these little groups of, I call them lemon drops, they're primrose. I pulled those out from, they were too close to the border over here. They were on the edge of the walkway and I moved them, so there's several groupings of those in here. And then moved the Stellas in front of these other bushes to fill this in a little bit. And last year we added 2 more bushes in here. Now, here's a whole bunch more of those primrose. See how many there are? There's hundreds of them. And they grow right through other shrubs. They're in the ground here. Here's another big Stella. And then this is a blue aster that I split this year. It looks small. It will be coming up in the fall. Here's another one of the blue asters. Another blue aster. Now this is this lavender, which really looks beautiful, cascading over the wall. And this is this perennial geranium. So if you buy the perennial geranium, they have these small, they don't really look like a geranium, but they have these small little sweet flowers, and they will cascade again over the wall, which is really nice. So I'll show you over here the Jetstar plants and some of the green beans I planted, and some of the, remember the tomato plants I said I started from seed back, I think it was mid-April. They were from some tomato I had in the house, and I actually just smushed it on a towel and told you guys to go ahead. It wasn't too late to start. So these here are the ones that I started from seed, and they are already flowering. So it must have been a organic. Where's the little flowers? I can't really see it on here. Oh yeah, there's a little flower right there. And here's a green bean plant. This is a pole bean, so it's supposed to climb. It's looking like it's going to climb up the tomato plant. And there's a few little lettuce plants in here that are just getting shaded by these tomatoes that are getting so big. Then I bought this variety of eggplant this year that I just happened to see. I went to get some geraniums for my mother, and they had a few of these. I've never seen them before. They're called compact container eggplant. And the eggplants are supposed to be very prolific. So there's lots of flowers on here. You know, it's supposed to make many eggplants per plant, and they're a little bit of a smaller variety of eggplant. I have no idea. Now this is one of the plants we planted from seed that's growing out here. It's not a super sweet 100. It's some other type of tomato that we planted from seed. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was one of the super sweet 100s. Oh, it could have been one of the Jetstars that Avery and Will brought. But here's the zucchini plants. You can see those little mini zucchinis on every single flower in here, which you can see there's multiple flowers on each plant. It has a little zucchini growing off of it. But some of them started to rot because they were getting too much water. So this one, how it's got a little brown on the end, I don't think that one's going to be any good. And here's some more growing over here. Quite a few more zucchini. They like it hot and dry, but they have to have enough moisture to live. So it's kind of hard to get it just right. This is another one of those zucchini. See how that one turned kind of yellow? That's rotten. That one, I don't know if that did well. This garden here, we took it apart last fall, put it back together this spring, and split all these daisy clumps. These are Shasta daisies. This is the type of plant from the seeds that Felicity has growing. She's got 3 plants here that are in my other garden. I'll show them to you in a minute. Got to bring them to Felicity's. Well, this garden's looking great. Now these are the Jetstar tomatoes that Avery and Will's mom gave me. I just cut some of this netting down, so now you can see the plant, and the plant can come over the netting a little bit, and I don't think the animals can get it. So these 3 here and these 3 over here are the Jetstars that Avery and Will gave me. And then I planted some more zucchini down here not too long ago. This will be a little bit of a later crop. And then these 2 tall ones in the middle are from those seeds again that I had taken out of a tomato that I had in the house, a vine-ripe tomato that I smushed the seeds, and I didn't even do that till like mid-April. And they're already up higher than the Jetstars. They're up, well, it's hard to say because they're sitting in a pot the pot's probably already 2 feet off the ground, and now these things are going up almost to the height of 5 feet. So the plant itself is probably 3 feet tall. And then we redid this garden this spring. This is where we used to have all the sedum plants, and we changed it to have blue aster, white daisies, yellow stellas. This, I don't know what it was. Might have been a coreopsis or something, but whatever it is, it's getting eaten by the rabbit. And then another one of these stellas. These are the sedum that used to be here. We used to have them all around, but I moved some outside the fence. These grow those red flowers that are good late in the fall. And then these planters, the herb planters, are getting really full. This is cilantro here, and this is a basil. It's a different kind of basil, which is delicious. Another cilantro. Here's some parsley right here, and then these are salvia, just to attract the bees to come and pollinate everything. This is the phlox. It's looking good. It's already gone by. And then the geranium planters all look really pretty. We have several of them. They're out around our whole yard. There's several over here. You can see them up against the house. They look nice to block those pipes there. This is a cucumber garden in here. Cucumber garden is not doing the greatest, but you know, it's alive. We'll see what it does. That hill has not been doing too well for me. I did add some more compost to it this year, some lobster compost, and a little bit of I think it's a Miracle-Gro organic potting soil, or if it wasn't Miracle-Gro, some other kind that has a organic fertilizer in it, potting soil that I got. These are the weeds. You can see I picked a lot of them. There's a lot more weeds growing. Everything that's on the ground that's not the tall green is weeds. And all the tall ones coming up that look like tall grass, those are all onion plants. And here are the peas, the snap peas that are growing up the fence over here. And here's some more of this garden lettuce. So all you have to do is cut this butter lettuce, and then it just grows back. So you can see down here, I had cut the lettuce off, and see that all this new growth? This is growing a new lettuce. They've done it all season for me, so I haven't had to replant the lettuce because it keeps growing back. And here are the green beans. They're up over 6 feet tall now, maybe almost up to 7 feet tall for Jack and the Beanstalk. Broccoli plants don't look that great. You know, it's very spindly. I bought them. They were sort of, I don't know, I was somewhere and I bought a little 6-pack of them and threw them in, and I think they'd been sitting in their pot too long. So they're not doing too great. Here's some more cucumber that we planted from seed. A couple more that are just beginning to come up. I try to plant them at different times so that if some of them start to die out, there might be some new ones coming up. Here's some more green beans. This was just ones that, I don't know, they ended up somewhere they weren't supposed to, and they're winding their way through my lettuce patch. And there's some tomato plants in here. One of them's a Super Sweet 100 that's up about 4 feet, but the other two are pretty small. I don't know what they're going to do. Here's some more of that lettuce that just keeps regrowing, that butter lettuce. And here are the eggplants over here that we planted from seed that really have not been doing too well. Looking kind of spindly looking, not as dark a green as they should be. There's some sort of an aphid that's eating some of the leaves, but we don't use any chemicals here because this is all organic. So there's some little baby pepper plants we planted from seed. I got a couple cards in here. Maybe I picked up a couple pepper plants also, but the ones without cards are the ones we planted from seed. I guess they're both about the same size. Must have picked up 2 more to add to it. So anyway, I think the ones that I planted from seed actually are a little taller than the 2 that I got from a nursery. Every once in a while when I go to get something, I see something else I want. Now these were the dianthus. These are like little mini carnations, and they smell like cinnamon. They're actually really, really yummy smelling, but the rabbits go crazy for them, so I moved them inside the garden this year because otherwise the rabbits just eat them up. And that's no fun if all my plants get eaten by something other than me. And we don't want to eat the flowers, but flowers are good for gardens because they attract birds and butterflies that pollinate your garden. And then let's just see if there's anything out here to look at. Well, you can see this garden down here all along the fence border is a combination of the purple iris that have already gone by, and then there's all these stelladoras. Stelladoras are little mini daylilies that bloom all the way from July all the way through, it's actually June now, they come a little bit early, like the end of June, all the way through September, maybe October. And they're fun because they give a pop of yellow color all along this green border here. This is my shade garden, and you can see the stellas too fine in the shade garden. And this is the iris garden that I took a lot of iris out of here, but also the voles ate a lot of this. This used to be very, very full. It should be looking like this section, but instead it's very mottled because the voles ate a lot of it. Here's some that the voles didn't eat. See how much thicker that is? And then here's a couple new clumps I put in this year. And all of the hydrangeas have gone, not the hydrangeas, all of the rhododendrons have gone by. Remember I showed you before they were white flowers on them? Those are all gone by. This is another big giant sedum, and all of my peonies, see there's no more flowers on them. All the flowers have died out of those. Those I'll just cut back the dead heads on these. Nothing much growing in here. Here's a couple daylilies that are coming up. Those are tiger lilies. And I put a new peony in here, and it hasn't bloomed yet, but maybe it bloomed at the nursery before I bought it. Doesn't look the greatest, but hopefully it will come back. And then over here, I didn't plant any tomatoes this year. This is where we had tomatoes last year, but look what's growing. I have one under here. 1 tomato, 2 tomato, 3 tomato, 4 tomato, 5 tomato, 6 tomato, 7 tomato, 8 tomato, 9 tomato, 10 tomato, and 2 more over there. 12 little super sweet 100 cherry tomatoes that are coming up on their own that I didn't plant. And then these are these pretty little planters. Geraniums are great because they are very drought resistant, and if you plant them and forget to water them, they usually survive quite a long time before they would die, which is kind of helpful if you can't water all the time. And then the upper planters are doing great. I do have a watering system for those, so those get hit. That's what those tubes are. It comes off my sprinkler system and puts a little drip hose in there and gets each one of those every morning. And then these flowers coming up in the back that look like green leaves, those are canna lilies. And canna lilies grow to be like 6 or 7 feet tall. They'll grow up almost as high as these planters. And they have, I think the ones that I had were yellow and red that we had last year. And you have to take the bulbs in the winter. And it was my first time I did it, and I had to keep them in the basement and then replant them. And certainly not all of them have come up, because I planted probably 20 of them. I only see about 7 of them that have come up. So I'm not sure it was worth it. I hope you have enjoyed your garden tour.